Hey guys, it's Joette with BalloonCoach.com, and I'm super excited that today I'm talking to you about an important topic about customer management systems. And we have Sara Meyer in the house. And Sara Meyer, many of you know from the Bright Balloon podcast, where she is transparent about her journey as a balloon business owner. And today she is going to share with you five features that make it worth the investment of going into 17 hats and how she uses it in her Wisconsin Balloon Decor business. So, Sara, I'm going to let you take it away. And then for those of you who are on with us live today, you can type in your questions in the chat and I'll be your voice. And then at the very end, after we turn off the recording, we'll also have some other open live Q&A too. So take it away, Sara. Let us know what we need to know about 17 hats and how to become more efficient with our businesses.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen here to get us started. And you'd think I'd be better at this after 2 years living on Zoom. Let's see. Where is it?
It should be underneath your picture with a green.
All right, can you see my messy desktop there?
Yes.
All right, so I am going to click in here and let me just present to make this a little cleaner. All right, so can we all see that?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so when I have this screen up, I can't see the chat. So Joette, if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those. I just can't see those coming up.
Yep, I'll take care of that for you.
And we had an unexpected snow day today, an ice day. So schools are canceled. So my daughter, I'm sure, will be making some appearances. I apologize. Okay. So really quick, just an introduction. My name is Sara. I host a podcast all about balloons. I love the business stuff of running a balloon business, just as Joette does. But my company is called Wisconsin Balloon Decor. So I am in a small town in Wisconsin. And I like to kind of, I guess, say that just so you know the scale of my business. Like I live in a town of like, I don't know, 10,000 people, but it's kind of like a resort town. So there's a lot of vacationers and conventions that come in and out. So it's a unique place to live, but it's not like a huge city. And I run my business. It's just me. I don't have any full-time employees. I subcontract out some services, but the thing that keeps me organized and keeps me able to run what I think is a pretty large business and pretty active on a shoestring budget is really 17 hats. It's, in my opinion, it's like the first hire a lot of people make is that administrative assistant role. This software does all of that for me. So also I want to clarify, so I'm a 17 hats ambassador, which basically means I'm in like a special group of other like 17 hat users. And we get like some extra questions answered and we know like some new features a little bit in advance, but like, I don't work for 17 hats. I don't have any special pull or insight. But they have sponsored me for Balloon Boss Summit. So they're very aware of the balloon industry. With that said, they are very much designed for like the solopreneur. So I think sometimes you'll get to the point where you're like, oh, I wish it had this feature. They are a big enough company that they will either do that feature or not do that feature. But like we aren't going to be able to like change what it is, I guess is what I'm trying to say. 17 hats is built for very small businesses. It's not built to like manage a team of 20 people. And for me, it's perfect. It's perfect for like a one-woman show for a small business managing my customer contacts. So some of the things that I struggle with as a small business owner, obviously the limited time. Like I feel like we are always running out of time. There's always more to do. There's so many tasks to stay on top of. And like, that's where they get their name, 17 hats. Like when you run your small business, you are, you know, the customer service representative, and you're also inflating balloons, and you're also your website designer, and you're also your social media manager. So there's so many things to do that like, you have to stay on all of them. You wear all the hats. And then the other thing that I think you get to in business is like, finally, you start figuring out how to use different softwares, but they don't necessarily like work well together, or you're having to log into like 6 different programs just to run your business. And I think 17 hats is a great solution for me because it does all the big things. So I'm going to highlight what that is. But I do all of my like invoicing, I do all of my communication, I do all of my organization. That's all within 17 hats. So not to say that I don't use other things, like I use MailChimp for my emails, and I use like a social media planner for that type of stuff. But 17 hats is really like the bulk of how I run my business. So let's get into it. I want to cut right to the chase. And I also want to keep this like pretty nitty gritty. Like it's going to be an overview. So if you don't have 17 hats, you'll get a nice tour here. But also, if you do have 17 hats, I want to leave a few little nuggets in here that you can maybe start implementing. Because what you'll quickly find out about 17 hats is that it is a huge platform. And I think when people introduce it, that is one of the, oops, I think someone's mic is on. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it because right now I'm not seeing it.
All right, sorry, I'm just hearing papers rustling. Good, I think we fixed it. So I think one of the flaws of a lot of people that start 17 hats is like, you want to do everything. You want to do all the things. And the word that I think derails people is automation. I think people think like, I want to get it to the point so it's all automated. And I have been using 17 hats for 4 or 5 years. I literally don't remember. I'm still not totally automated. So going from nothing to automated is a very long process. So instead, I think it's easier to like just start implementing some of these little time-saving tricks, and eventually you'll work your way up to that streamlined automation. So the biggest thing for me, what sells me on 17 hats, is this project page. So you see my screen right now. This isn't me. I don't have a dog walking business on the side. This is provided from 17 hats. And all of their examples that you'll see are always like dog walking. That's like their fake business. But this project page for me was like what sold me on the program, because before this, I was like in and out of my inbox. I was losing track of messages. Someone would email me, and then I would kind of like forget where we even were in the sales process. And then they'd email me on a new tag, and then they would like text me pictures, and then someone else would have a similar name on the same date. And like, it was just a mess. I was spending all my time searching through my inbox. So I had to get out of my inbox, and this automatically did that for me. So like on my website, on my contact form, that is generated within 17 hats. So when someone fills out my contact form, it automatically gets them one of these little folders that you see here. So let's start with the very first one over here, Alyssa. As soon as she would fill out my form with the info that I asked for, she gets this little folder. So I have mine organized chronologically so I can see my upcoming events. And it's nice. It's just like a snapshot of what's coming up. And I actually changed the name. So like you can see here, 30-minute consultation via Zoom. For me, that would look more like birthday party at Lake Lawn Resort, or like 40th birthday party at Lake Lawn Resort. I actually give my projects names that like I will remember. So that way at a glance, I can see like, oh, that big RV show is coming up soon. I need to do my orders. So this page by itself is worth the money of 17 hats. Just being able to see all of your upcoming events with your project pages and folders. Okay, actually, I'm going to take a second and talk about it. I didn't even have this in here because this is kind of the part that I think most of you probably know about 17 hats. If I click into this project folder, all of my info about Alyssa is going to live in her folder. So whether it's the emails that I've sent her, eventually the invoicing, her inspiration photos, I put in this file. So it's like a big digital filing cabinet. So they call it a customer management software. CRM, customer relationship management software. I think of it more as like project management software. Like, I don't think, frankly, it's great at keeping track of your customers, because once Alyssa's party is over, I have to do a lot of work to actually like keep her on front of mind for next year. I'll show you how I do that. That's a really good tip. But I think of it more as like a project management. So I know what upcoming projects I have. I know when they are. I know who the contact is. I can click in and like really see where we are in the process. But again, that gets a little bit deeper into like automation and workflows. And that's what people love to dive into right away. I would say that that's a mistake. First, you want to get your contact form on your website correct. Then you want these little folders to start populating for you automatically. That alone will save you so much searching and confusion and like missing dates and screwing up. The other thing that this page does for me, it reminds me to follow up with people. So if I'm like, Victoria, wait, who's Victoria? And what are we consulting about via Zoom? Like, I'm not sure. I can click into there and see like, oh, she actually hasn't responded to like any of my emails yet. So then I can send my reminder email or my follow-up email. And then I can send another one. And then I actually have a final, like a goodbye email that just says like, it sounds like you're really busy planning your party. For now, we're going to take you off our calendar, but keep us in mind for your next event. So that way, like, I don't just have people stalling out indefinitely. I actually end our relationship. That sounds really bad, but like, I don't like having these people that it's like, are they going to book? Are they not? After like a week, I'm pretty quick. I'm pretty aggressive. I send them that email saying like, you're not actually on our calendar anymore, but good luck with your event and keep us in mind for the future. So that way, if Victoria has gone AWOL, I can get her off of here and visually like get rid of that clutter. So I love this project folder, this whole thing about 17 hats. I love it, but let's move on. Any questions about that part? Nope. Okay. So number two, the thing that I really like is tags. And I just started using tags. So some of the like the insider scoop that I have about tags is that starting last month, they have really started focusing and investing on the tags feature and building that up because all of your reporting is really generated from tags. So for example, you can see here, these people, again, because we're in this fake like dog walking, client, they have all been tagged 2021. So when you go back and you run a report, you can pull up all of your jobs from 2021, which is really cool because I know there's a question sometimes, and this is more for like 17 hats users of like, how do I know how many jobs I had? Or how do I know how many converted or how? That's all going to be figured out with your tags. So you could tag every single inquiry with 2021. And then if they actually book, you can tag them with like booked 2021. Then when you run your report, you can cross-reference those so that you can see exactly how many inquiries you got, how many of those booked. Special appearance from Jovi. But the way that I use tags right now is I tag annual events, and that's really important to me. So if I get like a prom or a corporate holiday party or anything that I think might happen again next year, I tag it as annual. And then when I go in and I run my report, I can see a very short list, but a very accurate list of annual events that I want to make sure to get every single year. So the tagging is really easy. It's just, it's one of the features, and you can make up whatever tags you want. It could be like big money or recurring income. You want to set those tags up so that when you can run a report and see exactly who you should be reaching out to and when their event is. And then you can go back into their project file and see exactly what they booked last year, how much they spent, when they booked, who the contact was. So that the tags, I think it's a really underutilized feature, but it's so simple to implement. And you can see here on the side, that's available for any of the levels that you have, any packages. I would recommend just getting level 3, especially if you have that 50% off your annual contract with 17 hats. It's so affordable and it gets you like all the bells and whistles. I would recommend that.
So level 3 lets you tag to the most extent. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
It looks like here that that all of them have it. But again, okay, level 1 and 2, you're going to get to a point where you're like, oh shoot, I wish it did this. Like some of the invoicing features, some of the things that you will use, I would just say level 3. And I would say that the free CRM isn't going to get you, it's not even going to get you like the inquiry form on your website, which you really need. So I would say just go with the level 3. It is really inexpensive.
So we have 2 questions. One is, where do we find the tags? Where do we find that tags feature? How do we find that on our dashboard? And then the second question is there a limit to how many tags you can put per record?
Oh,
Example, if somebody is a corporate client, like if you want to do them as corporate, but then you also wanted to like name what the actual corporation is, that kind of thing. Like how many tags can you
yeah.
put on somebody?
Right. So if you had like a bunch of Amazon accounts, you could tag them all like Amazon with the person's name. Yeah. I don't know what the limit is, but I know you can do several. It's not like you have to have one tag. And then I will show you after we stop recording, I'll actually log into my account and show you exactly where to add a tag, but you just do that in the same place where you would update like a client's name or the project name or the project date. It's after someone starts the project, you could just go in and edit it. But they just rolled out tagging in workflows. So if you are to the stage where you're building workflows and you're kind of working through that, you can have a tag automatically generate in a workflow. I like to do it just like manually because like I'm tagging specific people that I want to work with next year. If you just want to set up every single inquiry to come in as inquiry 2022, you can automatically have that tagged in your workflow.
Cool. Thanks. And one person said that they do things where they identify people as a corporate client versus a social client.
Oh, that's a good idea too. Yep. Yep. So again, I am not like the tag pro, but I just know that they're investing a lot of time and resources into really bulking up the tags feature. So I think there's probably more to come, which is why I'm trying to kind of like start using them so that I can then use them to their full potential eventually. But yeah, the tags is really cool that you can go and just see, because I have so many people that fill out my form. I want to see who those annual people are. That to me, that recurring income, that's the easiest money to make.
And just a quick question, Sarah. One of the things I know you talked about is it wasn't great as far as like if it's just somebody who's come to you and then hasn't booked. Is there a way, do you think, that you could go ahead and put somebody as a non-purchaser? So you keep them
Absolutely.
in their system, have that non-purchase tag, and then you could still send them a newsletter or an email to kind of hopefully eventually get them as a client.
Yep, absolutely. And like there's a ton you can do right in the settings. Like you can categorize someone as like a hot lead versus a client. So like maybe someone really wanted to book you, but you weren't available, or like they canceled something because of COVID or whatever. You know that they really want to use your services. You can categorize them a different way than like someone who actually did book you. That could be done with tags or just right in their client portal.
Okay, cool.
Got a crying toddler in the back here. Wish me luck.
All
All right.
Fun of home-based business.
Oh my gosh. And I purposely put this on a day she wouldn't be here, but we got iced out.
It's all good. We appreciate you
Jovi,
being here.
Come here.
And if you need to take a break, we totally get it.
We'll see. We'll see how far we get here. Okay. So this piggybacks on what you were just talking about, Joette. The other thing that I love. So number 3, all of your information ever is saved in 17 hats. So give me 1 second. Okay.
Yep. So one of the things that I want to encourage people is whether you use 17 hats or another customer management system, the more that you can think ahead and graph things out of how you want to use it, the better. And back with the tags, a lot of people use tags within their money system, to know the corporations, schools, social events, deliveries. So, there's all those different breakdowns that we can talk about later. So you're good, Sarah.
My assistant's here. Okay. Saved contacts and events. That's what I was going to mention. That is, again, not an underutilized feature of 17 hats, but I think an underappreciated feature. The fact that anyone ever who has filled out your inquiry form is saved in your contacts. So whether they book, whether they don't book, you can go back and see. And what's been happening for me as my business has grown over the last 5 years, I still very much maintain like my small business persona. So people will email me or fill out the form like, oh, you did our party last year. We loved it. We want the exact same thing. And like, obviously I have no idea who they are or what I did, or like, I have no clue. So I can go back in and search and pull up their old invoice, their address, all the details. I can just like replicate their order, and it makes me look like I remember who they are. It also saves a step, especially for corporate clients, because they don't care. They don't care if I remember who they are. They just want it to be easy. So they can be like, oh, we just want the same thing that we had last time. I can go back in and see their invoice, see who the contact was, when I delivered, what the budget was, and just kind of replicate it and send that off really quickly. So the fact that everything is saved in here is awesome. And that really is kind of like the CRM aspect of it, like all of your customer info in a database. But like, again, I see the value as like those invoices being saved. You can go back and see like multiple years too. Like it's all in there. So that's another thing too. Like if you feel like a name is sort of familiar, or like if someone this is actually a really good example. If someone took over a job and is like, hi, I was given your contact, like you did our party last year, I guess, like, I don't know, I'm planning it this year. It's really nice for me to be like, oh, I did do it. Last year, the budget was $3,000. We did this. Would you like me to rebook it? Like, there's so much turnover in the event industry right now because of COVID. A lot of people were furloughed and then never came back. So sometimes you know more about their event than they do, the person who's new and in charge. So being able to pull back those old invoices is like, it's like free money. It's so awesome being able to know all the details, and knowing all those details, like, they automatically trust you. Like they know like, oh yeah, she did this party last year. Here's the outline. Here's the old contact. Here's when she got here. It's like automatic trust built in. So I love that everything is saved. All right. Sorry, I just saw the chat here.
You're good. Yeah. And just what Debbie was saying, that she has 2 4-inch binders of all the old invoices from her rental business. And it's just
I would have a heart attack.
Everything automated, rather than like when I got my business back in 2003, I inherited a legal size 2-drawer file cabinet with all their old clients. And so it was alphabetized for like 6 years. Somebody would call me and like, hey, you did our party back in 2000. And I'd be able to act like it was me because I could go, or I could go back and pull that up, and it was great.
Yeah, I was just cleaning out an office, and I used to be a face painter before balloons, and I just found my old binder of all my invoices, because like back then I was doing everything on like a Word document and then like sending an attachment, and it was the worst. So yeah, the other thing too that you just reminded me of is that 17 Hats has a great app. So anything that you can do on the computer, you can do in their app. So like I'm probably less prepared and organized than I should be, but like half the time on a Saturday morning, I'm like loading up the van at the same time, pulling up my map to find the address and remind myself of the person's name, and then I go. So having everything in my pocket, or like sometimes even when you're as planned as you possibly could be, something goes wrong. It's really nice to not have to be sorting through like email on your phone to be like, well, is there another number I can call? Do I have the wrong time? Like, what's going on? Being able to like pull up that invoice and all the communication. And sometimes I go back as far as like the original inquiry, like, no, from the beginning, this has been the time and the date and the number and sometimes things get messed up, and it's nice having like all that backup with you in your pocket. And if you don't, I don't like notifications on anything. I don't have like Instagram notifications or anything, but I do have my notifications set up on 17 Hats because they're really cute. And it's like, I don't know what it even says, but it's like, you just got a new lead that smells like money or something. But it's cool to know, like, as soon as you get an inquiry, you get a notification, and you can click on that. And like, because I use email templates, I can click one button confirming that I'm available. And the other one I have is like, cha-ching, they just paid their invoice. And like, those notifications are worth getting. They're very fun to get a notification that someone has paid you money. So I love the notifications on the app.
A question is asking, Sarah, have you found a way to create a link to a client's address from the app? I know the project has a link, but you're right, I'm always looking up the address right before I leave.
No. And there is something weird about that I have been fighting with them about, because like if someone puts their address in the inquiry form, for some reason, it doesn't like map. Like, I know, Nikki, I know you know what that means. Like, it doesn't map to the thing you want it to map to. And I don't know why. So no, I just go in and I open their folder, and I just copy and paste the address into Google Maps. That's what I do.
Great.
All right, let me move to the next one. Okay, here we go. I love email templates. Like, it is the littlest thing that saves so many hours and hours and hours of time. And then it also makes you quicker. It makes you cleaner, like you are not making typos. And then also it holds you to your own process. So I don't know why, but I just like love to abandon my own rules. I set these rules and then I just like ignore them. Like, no, I don't work on Sundays, but for you, I will, stranger. Like, no, I don't know why. I always want to accommodate everyone, but because I have my templates, it's actually more energy to change my rules than it is to just click the send button. So it keeps me more like focused. So I think everyone loves talking about workflows in 17 hats. Frankly, I think templates are the most important part, because even if you don't have a workflow, if you have great templates, you can see and select all of those templates from the same page. So after we're done recording, I'll log in, I'll show you what that looks like. But email templates, I think, is where you should start. So if you are brand new to 17 hats, after you get that inquiry form on your website, you should start with templates. Don't even worry about the workflow for like a long time. Templates are like the meat of what I think 17 hats is, because it's all of your own words pre-saved for you. So when somebody asks if you're available, you probably say one of two things: yes, you are, or no, you're not. Type out those two versions of the email and save them each as a template. And then as soon as someone sends it, you're just picking yes, you are, or no, you're not. Don't overthink it. That's why the app is cool, because I'm not actually writing emails within 17 hats. I'm just clicking send, I'm available, send, I'm not available. Same thing with like the invoicing. Like, I don't need to type out my little spiel every single time saying like, your invoice is available. You can pay it using the link below. If you have any questions, let me know. You'll also get a confirmation email, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to type that every single time. It's just saved as a template. So it saves so much time, and it might not seem like it, but literally hundreds of hours. I feel like before 17 hats, all I did was type emails. And now it's like the only emails I'm physically typing are when we're like designing the project. All of the just like administrative stuff, it's pre-written. The other thing, sorry, is there a question?
No, I just said love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And if you don't want 17 hats or whatever, you can enable email templates right in Gmail. Like, you go to your settings and you click enable templates, and you can do all of your templates right in Gmail. So like, if you're not ready to do 17 hats yet, but you want like that very first step into what I would consider automation, you can do that right in any email provider and just save that little step.
Great tip.
Really quick, these also, I think, are an underutilized feature. You see this green text. These are called tokens. And basically from the inquiry form, whatever they type in, if they say like first name, Sarah, company name, Wisconsin Balloon Decor. Sorry, she's calling people. These little green tokens up here, you can see insert token. You can put those in your templates. So every template I have, it's hi, first name. This is a friendly reminder that your invoice is due by, and you can put in a due date. You can make this super fancy, but for the most part, I just kind of, I do the customer name and that's it. But even that alone, like, I have typed people's names wrong. I misspell, Stephanie with an IE versus a Y, or just those little like stalls and little mistakes it's like a first impression. So having the contact name preloaded based on whatever they type in, it's so easy, and you can put those on all of your templates.
And it makes people think that you're actually sending them the email directly rather than it going through your system.
Right. Exactly. And then number 5, and then we can move on to questions, the invoicing and payment plans. So invoicing is all within 17 hats. Like, it technically goes through PayPal or Square, just because 17 hats isn't like a credit card processing system. So you have to process your credit cards somewhere else. People are like, oh, but the fees, it's completely worth it. Raise your prices by 5% if you're worried about the credit card fees. Money now is always better than money later. So get your payment upfront online with a credit card. The other thing is that if someone cancels, or like if you need to cancel for whatever reason, it's way easier to refund someone with a credit card than it is with like a check. There were a couple situations where people like canceled their weddings for like 2 years and they wanted me to keep their money. And I was just more comfortable like refunding them. Like, I'm not a bank. I don't want to hold your money. So I would refund people, and it made it super easy. But the thing that I think a lot of people aren't using, if you already have 17 hats, if you look over here, you can check this payment schedule. So once you have your email generated, you can do a payment plan, which for me, that looks like $100 due within 48 hours. And then the final balance due 2 weeks before their event. So that way I'm getting that invoice or that deposit pretty.
I want to clarify real quick. Instead of saying deposit, I've been encouraged to use the word retainer.
Oh, interesting.
Because it has two different connotations legally. And so a retainer is for you to start doing work now. So think about a lawyer. If you ever have to have a lawyer, you have to give them a retainer to start working with you. And that's just to like know your name and to like look at what your address is.
Smart.
So yeah, so using the word retainer rather than deposit is wise in that case.
Either way, I make sure they know they're never getting it back ever.
Yeah, and so you want to make sure that you put that in, a non-refundable retainer is being paid.
Yeah, I mean, or like, and or it could be whatever. You could do 50% now, 50% on the due date. Whatever your terms are, that payment schedule is very cool. I mostly use that for weddings because like I think it's kind of insane to have someone pay their full balance 2 years in advance. Especially because like she's pretending to be in a meeting. I don't want, again, this is just me. I don't want someone to pay their $2,000 bill 2 years in advance, because when that job comes around in 2 years, it feels like I'm not making any money. And I know that's just me. So I rather have that deposit, especially now with COVID. Like, I don't want to be dealing with that much money upfront if someone's going to cancel or whatever. It's just easier for me to do the $100 now that is non-refundable, and then the full balance a little bit closer to the event.
All right. And a quick question was on payment. Can you use e-transfer?
Sorry, say that again.
Can you use e-transfer?
I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
I would say if you're doing that, you probably, is that like Venmo?
Not eight. Okay, so
yeah, I don't think so. It's Square, Stripe, or PayPal.
Square, Stripe, or PayPal is what will attach their system.
Yeah, and on their end, it just looks, it's a credit card. I will say I used to use PayPal and it was very confusing for customers. I switched to Square and I've never had a question, because PayPal makes it look like you should pay with PayPal. So people were always responding like, well, I don't have PayPal. And it was like, okay, well, like there's actually a thing that says checkout as a guest. So click that. It was annoying. So I recommend Square.
Excellent. Yeah. And I love with Stripe too. Like when you have things in there that you can just easily go in and make, your refunds if needed. And then my other question is that they do have some other way that they're taking payment, or if like maybe they do take cash or check, you're able to put that into the system that you're getting paid outside of that system. Is that correct?
Yep. You just go in and you just log payment received. Yep.
Cool. So in that e-transfer, which is they're going from their credit card, from their bank account to her account, she can just put that in as the other.
No, it can't do that. You could probably figure out some automatic way to explain those details in an email and ask for payment that way. The other thing is, and I will be honest about this, it technically integrates with QuickBooks, but I found it very confusing. And my accountant actually said like, oh, that's not great. So we actually disconnected. So it still talks to QuickBooks. Like you can see what's paid and what's not, but it was like making things a lot harder. So I actually don't have it linked up with QuickBooks. I do all my bookkeeping in QuickBooks, and I do all of my customer stuff in 17 hats. Otherwise it got to be too much. It was duplicating and it was too tricky.
Great. So, what we're going to do is to answer questions and to allow for Sarah to show you some of the other things that are more specific to the balloon business, we're going to go ahead and turn off our recording. But before I do that, I want to make sure we say it out loud for people of how they can get a hold of you if they have other questions.
Yep. So Well, my email just got hacked, so that's super fun. But the easiest, honestly, is Instagram or Facebook. So I prefer Instagram, The Bright Balloon, or Wisconsin Balloon Decor. But you should also follow 17 Hats on Instagram. They do like these little tips. Sorry.
Great. I'm sorry. For some reason, the mute as they come in feature is not happening today.
Okay.
Uh, and so the other thing, guys, is if you need support and help on other things with business relations, you can always email me, Joette@BalloonCoach.com, or go to BalloonCoach.com. And there's several ways there that you can meet up with me and ask questions too. So Sara, thank you so much for this information on 17 Hats and using the customer management systems. There's so many to choose from, and this one sounds like a great one for people who are solo entrepreneur, small business, to help save you time when it comes to those administrative tasks of going in and out. And we will now go ahead and stop our recording.